In the 1970s, families knew how to make cheap 10-minute snacks that mattered. Their work wasn't fancy cooking. Cheese and pineapple hedgehogs, Rumaki, Hanky pankies, cinnamon sugar tortilla crisps fed parties and after-school hunger for pennies. Then convenience culture erased these skills. Let's rediscover 30 forgotten 10-minute snacks from the 1970s before they disappear forever. In the 1970s, the cheese and pineapple hedgehog was the centerpiece of every cocktail party, a foil-covered grapefruit or orange bristling with toothpicks holding cubes of cheddar and chunks of canned pineapple. This wasn't just a snack, it was entertainment. Hosts would push toothpicks into the fruit base to create a spiky hedgehog look, then add maraschino cherry or olive eyes. The sweet pineapple and sharp cheddar combination was unexpectedly good, and guests loved the interactive grab-and-go format. Assembly took under 10 minutes. Drain a can of pineapple chunks, cut a block of cheddar into cubes, spear them onto toothpicks, and stick them into half a grapefruit covered in aluminum foil. Cost per serving was under $1. The snack was cheap, colorful, and required zero cooking. Kids loved making them, adults loved eating them, and everyone loved how they looked on the table. Today, cheese and pineapple hedgehogs are mostly seen as kitschy relics, but in the 1970s, they mattered. They turned a simple snack into a conversation piece and made entertaining feel special without spending much money or time. In the 1970s, Rumaki was the exotic appetizer that made every host feel like a tiki lounge chef. This snack featured chicken livers and canned water chestnuts marinated in soy sauce and brown sugar, wrapped in bacon, secured with toothpicks, and broiled for 8 to 10 minutes until the bacon crisped and the liver cooked through. The result was a bite-sized flavor bomb, smoky, sweet, salty, and rich. Rumaki originated in American tiki bars in the 1940s, but it hit peak popularity in the 1970s when Polynesian-themed entertaining was everywhere. The ingredients were cheap. A can of water chestnuts cost under 50 cents, chicken livers were one of the least expensive proteins available, and bacon was a pantry staple. The marinade was just soy sauce and brown sugar mixed together. Total prep time was under 10 minutes. Just cut the livers and water chestnuts into bite-sized pieces, marinate them for a few minutes, wrap them in bacon, and broil. Today, Rumaki has nearly vanished because organ meat fell out of favor. But in the 1970s, it mattered. It was the snack that made you look worldly and adventurous without leaving your kitchen or spending much money. Before we move on, many of you asked in the comments where to find these recipes. We even received tons of email, too, so we published these recipes on our website. The link is in the description. Let's continue. In the 1970s, clam dip was the go-to party dip that every host knew how to make in under 10 minutes. This snack required just 5 ingredients: a can of minced clams, drained, softened cream cheese, lemon juice, Worcestershire sauce, and a dash of hot sauce or garlic powder. You'd mix everything together in a bowl, chill it for a few minutes if you had time, or serve it immediately if you didn't, and set it out with a big bag of Ruffles potato chips. The ridges on Ruffles were perfect for scooping up the chunky, creamy dip. Cost per batch was under $2. Canned clams were cheap, cream cheese was a staple, and Ruffles were affordable. The dip tasted like the ocean, briny, tangy, rich, and it felt fancy even though it came from a can. People loved it because it required no cooking, no fancy equipment, and no skill. You just opened a can, mixed, and served. Today, clam dip has mostly disappeared, replaced by spinach artichoke dips and hummus, but in the 1970s it mattered. It was the snack that made you look like a sophisticated entertainer without spending much time or money. All right, number 4 is where things get really interesting. But before we go there, in the 1970s, cocktail weiners simmered in grape jelly, and chili sauce were a staple at every potluck, party, and family gathering. This snack sounded bizarre, grape jelly and chili sauce, but it worked. The sweet jelly and tangy chili sauce created a glossy, sticky glaze that coated the little smokies perfectly. Preparation took under 10 minutes. Dump a package of cocktail weiners into a slow cooker or saucepan, add a jar of grape jelly and a bottle of chili sauce, stir, and simmer for 10 minutes until the sauce melted and the weiners heated through. Serve with toothpicks. Cost per batch was under $3. Cocktail weiners were cheap, grape jelly was a pantry staple, and chili sauce, like Heinz, cost under $1. The snack was warm, sweet, savory, and addictive. People would stand around the slow cooker popping them into their mouths one after another. Today, this snack still shows up at some gatherings, but it's often seen as retro or ironic. In the 1970s, though, it mattered. It was the snack that required almost no effort, fed a crowd, and tasted better than it had any right to. In the 1970s, Hanky Pankies were the ultimate party rye snack, mini open-faced pizzas that took 10 minutes to make and disappeared in seconds. This snack featured ground beef and sausage cooked together, mixed with melted Velveeta cheese, Worcestershire sauce, garlic salt, and oregano, then spooned onto small squares of party rye bread and broiled for 5 minutes until bubbly and golden. The result was a greasy, cheesy, a meaty bite that tasted like pizza, and a cheeseburger had a baby. Prep time was fast. Brown the meat, 5 minutes. Stir in the cheese and seasonings, 2 minutes. Spread on the bread. Broil, 5 minutes. Total time, 12 minutes, but active prep was under 10. Cost per batch was under $5. Ground beef and sausage were cheap, Velveeta was affordable, and party rye bread came in inexpensive packages. The snack was filling, warm, and crowd-pleasing. Kids loved them, adults loved them, and they were easy to make in huge batches. Today, Hanky Pankies are mostly forgotten, but in the 1970s, they mattered. They were the snack that made you look like a skilled cook without spending much time, money, or effort. Cheese and pineapple hedgehog, Rumaki, clam dip, and ruffles, cocktail weiners in grape jelly sauce, Hanky Pankies, 5 10-minute party snacks that fed 1970s gatherings for pennies. Each one was cheap, fast, and impressive. Not shortcuts, but smart entertaining. 5 more party snacks are waiting. Let's keep going. In the 1970s, stuffed celery was a classic party appetizer that took under 10 minutes to assemble and looked elegant on any buffet table. This snack featured crisp celery sticks filled with softened cream cheese mixed with chopped pimento-stuffed green olives, then sprinkled with paprika for color. The combination was crunchy, creamy, salty, and tangy, perfect for grazing. Preparation was simple. Wash and cut celery into 3-inch sticks, soften cream cheese at room temperature or in the microwave, 30 seconds, chop a handful of green olives, mix them into the cream cheese, pipe or spread the mixture into the celery grooves, and dust with paprika. Total time, 8 minutes. Cost per batch was under $2. Celery was cheap. Cream cheese was a staple, and a jar of olives lasted for multiple batches. The snack required no cooking, no special equipment, and no skill. You could make it ahead and refrigerate it until guests arrived. Today, stuffed celery is mostly forgotten, replaced by more elaborate crudité platters. But in the 1970s, it mattered. It was the snack that made you look like a sophisticated host without spending much time or money. In the 1970s, vol au were the fancy-looking appetizer that took almost no effort to make. These puff pastry shells, store-bought, and of course, were filled with a quick creamed ham mixture, a can of cream of mushroom soup heated with diced ham, and a sprinkle of parsley. The result was a warm, flaky, creamy bite that looked like you'd spent hours in the kitchen. Preparation took under 10 minutes. Buy frozen puff pastry shells, bake them according to package directions, usually 10 to 15 minutes, but you could prep the filling while they baked. Heat a can of cream of mushroom soup in a saucepan. Stir in diced leftover ham or canned ham and spoon the mixture into the baked shells. Garnish with fresh or dried parsley. Cost per batch was under $3. Puff pastry shells were cheap. Cream of mushroom soup cost under $1, and ham was inexpensive. The snack tasted rich and elegant, and the flaky pastry impressed guests. Today, vol au vents are mostly seen at upscale restaurants, but in the 1970s, they mattered. They were the snack that made you look like a gourmet cook without spending much time or money. In the 1970s, deviled ham spread on crackers was a quick, no-cook snack that required almost no effort and tasted surprisingly good. This snack featured canned Underwood deviled ham mixed with cream cheese and a spoonful of pickle relish spread thickly on Ritz crackers. The deviled ham was already seasoned and spreadable, so all you had to do was mix it with softened cream cheese to make it creamier and add a bit of pickle relish for tang. Total prep time, 5 minutes. Cost per batch was under $2. A can of deviled ham cost under $1, cream cheese was cheap, and Ritz crackers were affordable. The snack was salty, smoky, creamy, and tangy, perfect for snacking while watching TV or serving at a casual party. You could make it ahead and keep it in the fridge or serve it immediately. The spread was also versatile. You could use it as a sandwich filling, a dip for vegetables, or a topping for celery. Today, deviled ham is mostly forgotten, but in the 1970s it mattered. It was the snack that fed you when you were too tired to cook, but still wanted something flavorful and satisfying. In the 1970s, bacon-wrapped water chestnuts were a sweet, smoky, crunchy appetizer that took under 10 minutes to prep and 8 minutes to broil. And this snack featured canned water chestnuts wrapped in bacon strips, brushed with a mixture of brown sugar and soy sauce, then broiled until the bacon crisped and the sugar caramelized. The result was a bite-sized flavor bomb, sweet, salty, smoky, and crunchy. Preparation was simple. Drain a can of whole water chestnuts, cut bacon strips in half, wrap each water chestnut in a bacon piece, secure with a toothpick, mix brown sugar and soy sauce together, brush it on the bacon, and broil for 8 minutes, flipping halfway through. Total prep time, 7 minutes. Cost per batch was under $4. Canned water chestnuts were cheap, bacon was affordable, and brown sugar and soy sauce were pantry staples. The snack was warm, addictive, and impressive. Guests loved the combination of textures and flavors. Today, bacon-wrapped water chestnuts still show up occasionally, but they're often seen as retro or old-fashioned. In the 1970s, though, they mattered. They were the snack that made you look like a skilled entertainer without spending much time or money. In the 1970s, cheese straws were a crispy, cheesy, flaky snack that took under 10 minutes to prepare and 10 minutes to bake. This snack featured store-bought pie crust rolled out, sprinkled with shredded sharp cheddar cheese and a pinch of cayenne pepper cut into thin strips, twisted, brushed with egg wash, and baked until golden and crisp. The result was a savory, crunchy snack that tasted like cheesy crackers but looked more elegant. Preparation was fast. Roll out pre-made pie dough, sprinkle cheese and cayenne on top, cut into strips with a pizza cutter, twist each strip, place on a baking sheet, brush with beaten egg, and bake at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes. Brush with beaten egg, and bake at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes. Total prep time, 8 minutes. Cost per batch was under $3. Store-bought pie crust was cheap, cheddar cheese was affordable, and cayenne pepper was a pantry staple. The snack was crispy, buttery, and addictive. You could make them ahead and store them in an airtight container for days. Today, cheese straws are mostly found in specialty stores or southern homes, but in the 1970s they mattered. They were the snack that made you look like a gourmet baker without spending much time or money. Stuffed celery, vol au vents, deviled ham spread, bacon-wrapped water chestnuts, cheese straws, 5 more 10-minute party snacks that made 1970s hosts look sophisticated without spending much. 10 snacks down, each one cheap, fast, and impressive. Not fancy cooking, but smart entertaining. 20 more snacks are waiting. Let's continue. In the 1970s, cinnamon sugar tortilla crisps were the after-school snack that every kid begged their mother to make. This snack was fast, cheap, and required only 4 ingredients: flour tortillas, butter, cinnamon, and sugar. Mothers would preheat the broiler, brush flour tortillas with melted butter on both sides, sprinkle them generously with a cinnamon-sugar mixture, cut them into triangles with kitchen scissors or a pizza cutter, arrange them on a baking sheet, and broil them for 2 to 3 minutes until the edges crisped and the sugar caramelized. The result was a warm, crunchy, sweet snack that tasted like a cross between a churro and a cookie. Total prep time was under 5 minutes. Cost per batch was under 50 cents. A package of flour tortillas cost less than $1 and made multiple batches. Butter was a kitchen staple, and cinnamon and sugar were pantry basics. The snack was warm, sweet, and addictive. Kids would eat them straight off the baking sheet, burning their fingers but not caring because they tasted so good. Mothers loved them because they were cheaper than store-bought cookies and took almost no time to make. You could also make them in the toaster oven if you didn't want to heat up the whole kitchen. Today, cinnamon sugar tortilla crisps have mostly disappeared, replaced by packaged cinnamon chips and snack crackers. In the 1970s, though, they mattered. They were the snack that mothers made when their kids came home hungry, when there was no time to bake cookies, when the budget was tight, but the craving for something sweet was real. They were simple, they were cheap, they were fast, and they were enough. In the 1970s, English muffin pizzas were the ultimate after-school snack and the answer to every kid's plea for pizza when there was no money for delivery. This snack required just 4 ingredients: English muffins, ketchup or jarred pizza sauce, shredded mozzarella cheese, and optional toppings like pepperoni slices or leftover cooked sausage. Mothers would split English muffins in half, spread each half with a spoonful of ketchup or pizza sauce, sprinkle shredded mozzarella on top, add toppings if they had them, and broil the pizzas for 4 to 5 minutes until the cheese melted and bubbled and the edges of the muffins crisped. The result was a mini pizza that tasted surprisingly close to the real thing. Total prep time was under 10 minutes. Cost per serving was under 50 cents. A package of English muffins cost less than $1. Ketchup was free if you saved packets from fast food restaurants, and a bag of shredded mozzarella lasted for multiple batches. Kids loved English muffin pizzas because they tasted like real pizza, and they could customize their own toppings. Mothers loved them because they were fast, cheap, and required no waiting for dough to rise or ovens to preheat to 500 degrees. You could make them in the toaster oven, under the broiler, or even in a regular oven. Today, English muffin pizzas still show up occasionally, but they're often seen as kid food or a last resort. In the 1970s, though, they mattered. They were the snack that turned a craving into a meal, that stretched a tight grocery budget, that made kids feel like they were getting something special, even when there was almost nothing in the house. In the 1970s, peanut butter and banana roll-ups were a quick, no-cook snack that mothers made in under 5 minutes when kids came home from school hungry. This snack required just 3 ingredients: soft white bread, peanut butter, and a ripe banana. Mothers would flatten a slice of white bread with a rolling pin or the palm of their hand to make it more pliable. Spread a thin layer of peanut butter across the entire surface, place a peeled banana at one edge, roll the bread tightly around the banana like a jelly roll, and slice the roll into pinwheel rounds. The result was a sweet, protein-rich snack that looked fun and tasted like a peanut butter and banana sandwich, but better. Total prep time was under 5 minutes. Cost per serving was under 25 cents. A loaf of white bread cost under $1, a jar of peanut butter lasted for weeks, and bananas were one of the cheapest fruits available. Kids loved the pinwheel shape and the fact that they could eat them with their hands. Mothers loved them because they required no cooking, no baking, and no cleanup beyond a knife and a cutting board. You could make them ahead and pack them in school lunches, or make them fresh as an after-school snack. The bread softened slightly from the peanut butter and banana, making the roll-ups easy to chew and swallow. Today, peanut butter and banana roll-ups have mostly disappeared, replaced by pre-packaged snack bars and protein bites. In the 1970s, though, they mattered. They were the snack that mothers made when there was no time to cook, when the kids were hungry and whiny, when the pantry was nearly bare but there was still bread, peanut butter, and a banana. In the 1970s, graham cracker sandwiches with frosting were a sweet, no-bake snack that kids could make themselves or mothers could assemble in under 5 minutes. This snack required just 2 ingredients: graham crackers and canned frosting, chocolate or vanilla. You'd spread a thick layer of frosting on one graham cracker, top it with another graham cracker, and press gently to make a sandwich. Some families let the sandwiches sit in the refrigerator for an hour so the graham crackers softened slightly and the frosting firmed up. But most kids ate them immediately. The result was a sweet, crunchy, creamy treat that tasted like a cookie but required no baking. Total prep time was under 5 minutes. Cost per batch was under $2. A box of graham crackers cost under $1 and contained multiple sheets, and a can of frosting cost around $1 and made dozens of sandwiches. Kids loved graham cracker sandwiches because they were sweet, fun to assemble, and didn't require adult supervision. Mothers loved them because they were cheap, mess-free, and kept the kids busy. You could also get creative with the frosting flavors: chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, cream cheese, and some families added mini chocolate chips, sprinkles, or crushed peanuts between the layers for extra flavor and texture. Today, graham cracker sandwiches with frosting have mostly disappeared, replaced by packaged sandwich cookies and snack cakes. In the 1970s, though, they mattered. They were the snack that kids made themselves when their mothers were busy, when there was no money for store-bought cookies, when something sweet was needed, but there was no time or energy to bake. In the 1970s, my ants on a log was the classic after-school snack that every kid knew how to make and every mother kept the ingredients for in the kitchen. This snack required just 3 ingredients: celery sticks, peanut butter, and raisins. You'd wash and cut celery into 3 to 4 inch sticks. Fill the groove of each celery stick with peanut butter using a butter knife or spoon, and press raisins into the peanut butter in a line to look like ants crawling on a log. The result was a crunchy, creamy, sweet, and salty snack that was surprisingly satisfying. Total prep time was under 10 minutes. Cost per batch was under $1. Celery was cheap. A jar of peanut butter lasted for weeks, and a box of raisins was inexpensive and shelf-stable. Kids loved ants on a log because it was fun to make, fun to eat, and had a silly name. Mothers loved it because it was one of the few snacks that included a vegetable and felt somewhat healthy. The celery provided crunch and fiber, and the peanut butter delivered protein and fat, and the raisins added natural sweetness and iron. You could also customize it. Some kids used cream cheese instead of peanut butter, or dried cranberries instead of raisins, or even mini chocolate chips if they wanted something sweeter. Ants on a log was also a popular snack at school parties, scout meetings, and play dates. Today, ants on a log is still around, but it's often seen as a retro snack or a healthy alternative to junk food. In the 1970s, though it mattered, it was the snack that mothers made when they wanted their kids to eat something with actual nutrition, when the budget was tight but the kids were hungry, when simplicity and fun could coexist in 3 ingredients: cinnamon sugar, tortilla crisps, English muffin pizzas, peanut butter and banana roll-ups, graham cracker sandwiches with frosting, ants on a log. 5 after-school snacks mothers made in under 10 minutes for pennies. Each one was fast, cheap, and filled hungry kids. Not fancy, but smart. 5 more snacks are waiting. In the 1970s, Saltines with butter and sugar was the simplest sweet snack a kid could make without turning on the stove or asking for help. This snack required just 3 ingredients: saltine crackers, butter, and granulated sugar. You'd spread softened butter on a saltine cracker, sprinkle a generous layer of granulated sugar on top, and eat it immediately. The combination of salty cracker, creamy butter, and crunchy sugar was unexpectedly delicious. Sweet, salty, rich, and satisfying. Total prep time was under 5 minutes. Cost per batch was under 50 cents. A box of saltines cost under $1, butter was a kitchen staple, and sugar was a pantry basic. Kids loved saltines with butter and sugar because they could make it themselves. It required no cooking, and it tasted like a cookie even though it was made from a cracker. Mothers tolerated it because it was cheap and kept the kids from eating all the expensive cookies. Some families had variations. You could use brown sugar instead of white sugar for a molasses-like flavor, or sprinkle cinnamon sugar on top for extra spice. You could also make them in the toaster oven for 2 minutes so the butter melted and the sugar caramelized, turning them into a warm, gooey treat. Today, saltines with butter and sugar have mostly disappeared, replaced by packaged sweet crackers and snack bars. In the 1970s, though, they mattered. They were the snack that kids made when their mothers weren't looking, when there was nothing sweet in the house but saltines and sugar, when simplicity and resourcefulness turned a boring cracker into something special. In the 1970s, cheddar cheese on apple slices was a classic after-school snack that mothers served when they wanted their kids to eat something healthy but still satisfying. This snack required just 2 ingredients: fresh apples and sharp cheddar cheese. You'd wash and core an apple, slice it into wedges or rounds, and top each slice with a thin piece of sharp cheddar cheese. Some families ate it as separate bites: apple, and then cheese, while others placed the cheese on top of the apple slice and ate them together. The combination was perfect. The sweet, crisp, juicy apple balanced the salty, tangy, creamy cheese. Total prep time was under 10 minutes. Cost per serving was under 50 cents. Apples were cheap, especially in the fall, and a block of cheddar cheese lasted for multiple snacks. And kids liked the combination because it tasted fresh and didn't feel like kid food. Mothers loved it because it was one of the few snacks that included fruit and protein and required no cooking. You could also get creative with the cheese. Some families used mild cheddar, some used extra sharp, and some used American cheese slices if that's what was in the fridge. The snack was also portable. You could pack it in a lunchbox or take it on a car trip. Today, cheese and apple slices are still around, but they're often seen as a fancy snack or part of a charcuterie board. In the 1970s, though, they mattered. They were the snack that mothers made when they wanted their kids to eat real food, when the budget was tight, but apples and cheese were always in the house, when simplicity and nutrition could come together in two ingredients. In the 1970s, toasted cheese crackers were a warm, melty snack that took under 5 minutes to make and tasted better than anything that came out of a box. This snack required just 3 ingredients: saltine crackers, American cheese slices, and butter. You'd place saltine crackers on a baking sheet, top each cracker with a small square of American cheese, dot the cheese with a tiny bit of butter, and broil them for 2 to 3 minutes until the cheese melted and bubbled and the edges of the crackers turned golden. The result was a warm, salty, cheesy bite that tasted like a miniature grilled cheese. Total prep time was under 5 minutes. Cost per batch was under $1. A box of saltines was cheap. American cheese slices came in economical packages, and butter was a kitchen staple. Kids loved toasted cheese crackers because they were warm, cheesy, and fun to eat. Mothers loved them because they were fast, cheap, and required no stovetop cooking. You could make them in the toaster oven if you didn't want to heat up the whole kitchen. And you could customize them by adding a sprinkle of garlic powder, a dash of hot sauce, or a slice of deli ham under the cheese. Some families made them for breakfast, some made them as an after-school snack, and some served them as a quick dinner side. Today, toasted cheese crackers have mostly disappeared, replaced by packaged cheese crackers and snack mixes. In the 1970s, though, they mattered. They were the snack that mothers made when their kids wanted something warm and cheesy, but there was no time to make a real grilled cheese sandwich. In the 1970s, Jell-O Jigglers, also called finger Jell-O, were a fun, no-bake snack that kids could eat with their hands and mothers could make in under 10 minutes of prep time. This snack required just 2 ingredients: Jell-O mix, any flavor, and water, but made with double the gelatin and half the water to create a firmer, sliceable texture. You'd pour 2 packets of Jell-O powder into a bowl, add 2 cups of boiling water, stir until completely dissolved, pour the mixture into a 9 by 13 pan, refrigerate for at least 3 hours until firm, and cut into squares, stars, or fun shapes with cookie cutters. The result was a firm, jiggly, brightly colored snack that kids loved to hold and eat. Total prep time was under 5 minutes, plus chilling time. Our cost per batch was under $1. A box of Jell-O cost around 30 cents, and water was free. Kids loved Jell-O Jigglers because they were colorful, fun to eat, and felt like candy, even though they were just flavored gelatin. Mothers loved them because they were cheap, easy to make in bulk, and kept in the fridge for days. You could make them for after-school snacks, birthday parties, school lunches, or summer treats. Some families used alphabet cookie cutters to spell out names, or layered different colors to make rainbow jigglers. Today, Jell-O Jigglers are still around, but they're often seen as a party food or a retro novelty. In the 1970s, though, they mattered. They were the snacks that mothers made when their kids wanted something sweet and fun, when the budget was tight, but a box of Jell-O cost almost nothing. In the 1970s, Ritz crackers with peanut butter and jelly were a quick, No cook snack that tasted like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but crunchier and more fun. This snack required just 3 ingredients: Ritz crackers, peanut butter, and grape jelly. You'd spread peanut butter on one Ritz cracker, spread grape jelly on another, press them together to make a sandwich, and eat. Some kids ate them open-faced, just peanut butter on one cracker and jelly on another, but most preferred the sandwich version. The buttery, flaky Ritz cracker provided a salty, crunchy base that balanced the sweet jelly and creamy peanut butter perfectly. Total prep time was under 5 minutes. Cost per batch was under $2. A sleeve of Ritz crackers cost under $1, a jar of peanut butter lasted for weeks, and a jar of grape jelly was cheap and shelf-stable. Kids loved Ritz crackers with peanut butter and jelly because they tasted like a treat. They were easy to make themselves, and they didn't require a plate or utensils. Mothers loved them because they were fast, cheap, and portable. You could pack them in lunch boxes, take them on road trips, or serve them as an after-school snack. You could also customize them with different jelly flavors: strawberry, raspberry, apricot, or use honey instead of jelly for a different twist. Today, prepackaged peanut butter cracker sandwiches are everywhere, but homemade Ritz crackers with peanut butter and jelly have mostly disappeared. In the 1970s, though, they mattered. They were the snack that mothers made when their kids were hungry, when there was no time to make a real sandwich, when simplicity and speed were more important than perfection. Saltines with butter and sugar, cheddar cheese on apple slices, toasted cheese crackers, Jell-O Jigglers, Ritz crackers with peanut butter and jelly. 5 more snacks mothers made in under 10 minutes for pennies. 20 snacks down, each one fast, cheap, and filling. Not fancy, but smart. 10 more are waiting. In the 1970s, no-bake peanut butter balls were the homemade candy that mothers made in under 10 minutes when their kids begged for something sweet, but there was no time or money for store-bought treats. This snack required just 4 ingredients: peanut butter, powdered sugar, Rice Krispies cereal, and graham cracker crumbs for rolling. Mothers would mix peanut butter and powdered sugar together in a bowl until it formed a thick, dough-like consistency. Then stir in a handful of Rice Krispies for crunch, roll the mixture into small balls about the size of a walnut, then roll each ball in crushed graham cracker crumbs to coat the outside. The result was a sweet, crunchy, peanut buttery bite that tasted like candy but was made from pantry staples. Total prep time was under 10 minutes. Cost per batch was under $2. A jar of peanut butter lasted for weeks. A box of powdered sugar was cheap. Rice Krispies were affordable, and graham crackers cost under $1. Kids loved no-bake peanut butter balls because they tasted like Reese's peanut butter cups, but were homemade and felt special. Mothers loved them because they required no baking, no stove, and no oven. You just mixed, rolled, and ate. You could make them in bulk and store them in the refrigerator for up to a week, pulling them out whenever the kids wanted a sweet snack. Some families added mini chocolate chips to the mixture, or rolled the balls in cocoa powder or coconut instead of graham cracker crumbs for variety. The snack was also a popular treat at school bake sales, scout meetings, and birthday parties. Today, no-bake peanut butter balls are mostly forgotten. In the 1970s, chocolate-dipped pretzels were a sweet and salty snack that mothers made in under 10 minutes when they wanted to turn a plain pretzel into something special. This snack required just 2 ingredients: pretzel rods and chocolate chips, semi-sweet or milk chocolate. Mothers would melt chocolate chips in a double boiler on the stovetop or in a heat-proof bowl over simmering water, stirring until smooth and glossy. Some mothers also melted chocolate in the microwave, heating it in 30-second intervals and stirring between each interval to prevent burning. Once the chocolate was melted, they'd dip each pretzel rod halfway into the chocolate, let the excess drip off. Place the dipped pretzels on a sheet of wax paper or parchment paper, and let them cool at room temperature or in the refrigerator until the chocolate hardened. Total prep time was under 10 minutes, plus cooling time. Cost per batch was under $3. A bag of pretzel rods cost under $1, and a bag of chocolate chips was affordable and shelf-stable. Kids loved chocolate-dipped pretzels because they were crunchy, sweet, salty, and fun to eat, when a simple pantry staple could be transformed into a treat with just a little melted chocolate. They were simple, they were cheap, they were fast, and they felt like a gift. In the late 1970s, when microwave ovens started appearing in more American homes, microwave s'mores became the instant snack that brought the campfire indoors. This snack required just 3 ingredients: graham crackers, Hershey's milk chocolate bar pieces, and marshmallows. You'd place 1 graham cracker square on a microwave-safe plate. Top it with a piece of chocolate. Place a marshmallow on top of the chocolate. Microwave it for 20 to 30 seconds until the marshmallow puffed up and the chocolate started to melt. Then top it with another graham cracker and press down gently to make a sandwich. The result was a warm, gooey, melty s'more that tasted almost as good as the campfire version. Total prep time was under 5 minutes. Cost per serving was under 50 cents. A box of graham crackers, a Hershey's bar, and a bag of marshmallows together cost under $3 and made multiple s'mores. Kids loved microwave s'mores because they could make them themselves. They were fast, and they didn't require a campfire or even going outside. Mothers loved them because they kept the kids busy and happy, and there was minimal cleanup. You could customize them by using different types of chocolate: dark chocolate, white chocolate, peanut butter cups, or by adding a smear of peanut butter on the graham cracker before assembling. Some families made them as an after-school snack. Some made them as a dessert, and some made them on rainy days when the kids were bored. The microwave made the marshmallow expand dramatically, which kids found hilarious and delicious. Today, microwave s'mores are still around, but they're often overshadowed by fancy s'more variations and gourmet ingredients. In the 1970s, Chex Mix was the savory snack that mothers made in under 10 minutes on the stovetop when they needed something crunchy and salty for after-school snacking or family gatherings. This quick version required just 5 ingredients: Chex cereal, wheat, rice, or corn, butter, Worcestershire sauce, garlic salt, and peanuts or mixed nuts. Mothers would melt butter in a large skillet over medium heat. Add Worcestershire sauce and garlic salt, stir in Chex cereal and nuts, and toast everything together for about 8 minutes, stirring constantly until the cereal was golden and fragrant. The result was a warm, crunchy, savory snack that tasted like the classic oven-baked Chex Mix, but took a fraction of the time. Total prep time was under 10 minutes. Cost per batch was under $3. A box of Chex cereal cost under $2. Butter was a kitchen staple, Worcestershire sauce was cheap, and a can of peanuts was affordable. Kids loved Chex Mix because it was crunchy, salty, and fun to eat by the handful. Mothers loved it because it was fast, cheap, and didn't require heating up the oven. You could make it in bulk and store it in an airtight container for days, pulling it out whenever someone wanted a snack. The stovetop method was faster than the traditional oven method, which required 45 minutes to an hour of baking and stirring. Some families added pretzels, bagel chips, or cheese crackers to the mix for extra variety. In the 1970s, Velveeta and Rotel dip was the ultimate party dip that mothers made in under 10 minutes for gatherings, football games, or just because the kids wanted something warm and cheesy. This snack required just 2 ingredients: a block of Velveeta cheese and a can of Rotel tomatoes with green chilies. Mothers would cube the Velveeta, dump it into a saucepan or microwave-safe bowl, along with the entire can of Rotel, including the liquid. Heat it on the stovetop over medium heat or in the microwave in 2-minute intervals, stirring occasionally. until the cheese melted and the mixture became smooth and creamy. The result was a warm, spicy, cheesy dip that was perfect for scooping with tortilla chips. Total prep time was 5 to 7 minutes. Cost per batch was under $4. A block of Velveeta cost around $2, a can of Rotel cost around $1, and a big bag of tortilla chips was cheap. Kids and adults both loved Velveeta and Rotel dip because it was warm, creamy, spicy, and addictive. Mothers loved it because it required just 2 ingredients, minimal effort, and no cleanup beyond a bowl and spoon. You could make it on the stovetop or in the microwave, and you could keep it warm in a slow cooker if you were serving it at a party. Some families added cooked ground beef or sausage to make it heartier, or used it as a topping for baked potatoes or nachos. The dip was also incredibly versatile. You could adjust the spice level by choosing mild, medium, or hot Rotel, and you could thin it out with a splash of milk if it got too thick. Today, Velveeta and Rotel dip is still popular, especially in the South and Southwest, but it's often dismissed as fake cheese or junk food. In the 1970s, though, it mattered. It was the snack that mothers made when they needed something fast, warm, and crowd-pleasing, when 2 ingredients could turn into a party, when processed cheese wasn't something to apologize for. It was something to celebrate. No-bake, peanut butter balls, chocolate-dipped pretzels, microwave s'mores, Chex Mix, Velveeta and Rotel dip. 5 sweet and savory snacks mothers made in under 10 minutes for pennies. Each one was fast, cheap, and satisfying. Not fancy, but smart. 5 more snacks are waiting. Let's finish strong. In the 1970s, frozen banana pops were the homemade popsicle that mothers made in under 10 minutes of prep time when their kids wanted something cold, sweet, and refreshing on a hot summer day. This snack required just 4 ingredients: ripe bananas, popsicle sticks, melted chocolate, and crushed peanuts or sprinkles for coating. Mothers would peel bananas, cut them in half crosswise, and insert a popsicle stick into the flat end of each banana half. Dip the banana into melted chocolate, either all the way or just halfway. Roll the chocolate-covered banana in crushed peanuts or sprinkles while the chocolate was still wet. Place the banana pops on a sheet of wax paper or parchment paper and freeze them for at least 2 hours until firm. The result was a cold, creamy, chocolatey treat that tasted like ice cream on a stick. Total prep time was under 10 minutes, plus freezing time. Cost per batch was under $3. A bunch of bananas cost under $1. A bag of chocolate chips was affordable, and peanuts or sprinkles were cheap pantry staples. Kids loved frozen banana pops because they were cold, sweet, crunchy, and fun to eat. They felt like a special treat even though they were made from fruit. Mothers loved them because they were healthier than store-bought popsicles, cheap to make, and kept in the freezer for weeks. You could make a big batch on Sunday and have snacks ready all week long. Some families used white chocolate instead of milk chocolate, or rolled the bananas in coconut flakes, crushed graham crackers, or mini M&Ms for variety. Today, frozen banana pops have made a comeback as a healthy dessert, but in the 1970s, they were just a smart way to turn overripe bananas into something the kids would actually eat. In the 1970s, grilled cheese crackers were a warm, crispy, cheesy snack that mothers made in under 5 minutes when their kids wanted something hot and comforting, but there was no time to make a full grilled cheese sandwich. This snack required just 3 ingredients: saltine crackers, American cheese slices, and butter. Mothers would heat a skillet over medium heat, butter one side of each saltine cracker, place the crackers butter side down in the skillet, top each cracker with a small square of American cheese, cover the skillet with a lid to help the cheese melt. Cook for 2 to 3 minutes until the crackers were golden and crispy and the cheese was melted and gooey. Then flip them over carefully and cook for another minute. The result was a miniature grilled cheese that was crunchy on the outside, melty on the inside, and bursting with buttery, salty, cheesy flavor. Total prep time was under 5 minutes. Cost per batch was under $1. A box of saltines was cheap. American cheese slices came in economical packages, and butter was a kitchen staple. Kids loved grilled cheese crackers because they were warm, cheesy, and bite-sized. You could eat them with your fingers, dip them in ketchup or tomato soup, or just pop them in your mouth one after another. Mothers loved them because they were faster and easier than making a full grilled cheese sandwich. They were the snack that mothers made when their kids wanted grilled cheese. But there was no time to make a full sandwich when the budget was tight, but the craving for something warm and cheesy was real, when simplicity and speed were more important than perfection. In the late 1970s, when microwave ovens became more common in American homes, the microwave version of Rice Krispies treats became the fastest way to make the classic marshmallow cereal snack. This version required just 3 ingredients: Rice Krispies, cereal, marshmallows, and butter. Mothers would place butter and marshmallows in a large microwave-safe bowl, microwave them on high for 2 to 3 minutes, stirring every minute, until the marshmallows were completely melted and the mixture was smooth. Then they'd pour in the Rice Krispies cereal, stir quickly to coat every piece, press the mixture into a buttered 9 by 13 pan with a spatula or buttered hands, let it cool for a few minutes, and cut it into squares. The result was a chewy, marshmallowy, crispy treat that tasted exactly like the stovetop version, but took half the time. Total prep time was under 5 minutes. Cost per batch was under $3. A box of Rice Krispies cost under $2, a bag of marshmallows was cheap, and butter was a kitchen staple. Kids loved Rice Krispies treats because they were sweet, chewy, and fun to eat. Mothers loved them because they were fast, cheap, and required minimal cleanup, just a bowl, a spoon, and a pan. You could make them plain, or you could get creative by adding chocolate chips, peanut butter, M&Ms, or sprinkles to the mixture before pressing it into the pan. Some families made them for bake sales, birthday parties, or lunchbox treats. The microwave method was revolutionary because it eliminated the need to stand at the stove stirring marshmallows over low heat, which could burn easily if you weren't careful. Today, Rice Krispies treats are still popular, and the microwave method is still the fastest way to make them. In the 1970s, though, the microwave version mattered because it showed families that the new kitchen technology could save time, reduce mess, and still deliver the same delicious results. It was simple, it was fast, it was cheap, and it tasted like childhood. In the 1970s, Tang and Cool Whip fruit dip was the bright orange, sweet, creamy dip that mothers made in under 5 minutes to get their kids to eat more fruit. This snack required just 2 ingredients: Tang orange drink mix powder and Cool Whip whipped topping. Mothers would dump a few tablespoons of Tang powder into a bowl of Cool Whip. Stir until the powder was completely incorporated and the mixture turned a bright, cheerful orange color, and serve it immediately with apple slices, grapes, strawberries, or banana chunks for dipping. The result was a sweet, tangy, creamy dip that tasted like orange creamsicle and made plain fruit feel like a dessert. Total prep time was under 5 minutes. Cost per batch was under $2. A jar of Tang powder lasted for weeks. A tub of Cool Whip was cheap, and fruit was affordable, especially in season. Kids loved Tang and Cool Whip fruit dip because it was sweet, bright orange, and made eating fruit fun. Mothers loved it because it was one of the few ways they could get their kids to eat fresh fruit without a fight. The dip was also incredibly versatile. You could adjust the amount of Tang powder to make it more or less sweet, and you could use it as a frosting for graham crackers or a filling for fruit roll-ups. Some families made it for birthday parties, play dates, or holiday gatherings, serving it in a big bowl surrounded by platters of cut fruit. Today, Tang and Cool Whip fruit dip has mostly disappeared, replaced by yogurt-based dips and healthier alternatives. In the 1970s, though, it mattered. It was the snack that mothers made when they needed their kids to eat fruit, when two ingredients could turn apples and grapes into something exciting. When processed foods weren't something to apologize for, they were tools that made life easier and kids happier. In the 1970s, cheese balls were a party staple, but mothers also made quick mini versions as an after-school snack in under 10 minutes. This snack required just 4 ingredients: cream cheese, shredded sharp cheddar cheese, Worcestershire sauce, and chopped pecans or walnuts for coating. Mothers would soften cream cheese at room temperature or in the microwave for 30 seconds, mix it with shredded cheddar and a few dashes of Worcestershire sauce until well combined, shape the mixture into small balls about the size of a golf ball or smaller, roll each ball in chopped pecans or walnuts to coat the outside, and serve immediately with crackers. The result was a creamy, tangy, nutty snack that tasted rich and satisfying. Total prep time was under 10 minutes. Cost per batch was under $3. Cream cheese was cheap. A bag of shredded cheddar was affordable. Worcestershire sauce was a pantry staple, and a bag of pecans or walnuts lasted for multiple batches. Kids loved mini cheese balls because they were creamy, crunchy, and felt like grown-up party food. Mothers loved them because they were fast, impressive, and required no cooking. You could make them ahead and refrigerate them for up to a week, pulling them out whenever someone wanted a snack. Some families added garlic powder, onion powder, or hot sauce to the mixture for extra flavor, or rolled the balls in crushed bacon bits, dried herbs, or sesame seeds instead of nuts. The cheese ball was also a popular gift. Mothers would make them, wrap them in plastic wrap, tie them with a ribbon, and give them to neighbors, teachers, or friends during the holidays. Today, cheese balls are mostly seen as retro party food or holiday appetizers. In the 1970s, though, the quick mini version mattered. It was the snack that mothers made when they wanted something special for their kids, when 2 types of cheese and some nuts could turn into something impressive, when homemade could taste better than anything from the store. Cinnamon toast, broiler method. In the 1970s, cinnamon toast was the ultimate comfort snack that mothers made in under 5 minutes when their kids came home from school cold, tired, or just needing something warm and sweet. This snack required just 4 ingredients: white bread, butter, cinnamon, and sugar. Toast one side under the broiler for 1 to 2 minutes until golden. Flip the bread over. Spread the untoasted side generously with softened butter while the bread was still warm so the butter melted into every pore. Mix cinnamon and sugar together in a small bowl, usually a ratio of 1 tablespoon cinnamon to 1/4 cup sugar. Sprinkle the cinnamon-sugar mixture liberally over the buttered toast. Return the baking sheet to the broiler and broil for another 1 to 2 minutes until the sugar caramelized and the edges turned crispy and golden. The result was a warm, sweet, buttery, crunchy slice of heaven that tasted better than any pastry from a bakery. Total prep time was under 5 minutes. Cost per serving was under 20 cents. A loaf of white bread cost under $1, butter was a kitchen staple, and cinnamon and sugar were pantry basics. Kids loved cinnamon toast because it was warm, sweet, crunchy, and comforting. It tasted like a hug in food form. Mothers loved it because it was fast, cheap, and required minimal cleanup. Just a baking sheet and a butter knife. You could make 1 slice or 10 slices at a time, depending on how many kids were hungry. Some families cut the toast into strips or triangles to make it more fun to eat, or served it with a glass of cold milk for dipping. The broiler method was faster than using a toaster and then spreading butter, because the butter melted directly onto the hot toast, and the sugar caramelized under the broiler's heat, creating a crispy, candy-like coating that you couldn't achieve any other way. Today, cinnamon toast is still around, but most people make it in a toaster or use pre-mixed cinnamon sugar spreads. In the 1970s, though, the broiler method mattered. It was the snack that mothers made when their kids needed comfort. 30 snacks. 30 moments that mattered when mothers turned butter, sugar, crackers, and cheese into something that felt like love.